I can tell you this, and people I've talked to close to, look, he does fear all this. All right. The idea that he embraces it or celebrates it, I think, is bravado. I mean, I don't think it's bravado. I'm told by folks, look, he really does fear this. He doesn't, he has spent his whole life sort of fighting the law, if you will. It's been arguably a part-time job of his throughout the years, either via his businesses or recently his forays into politics. So, he's certainly comfortable, as one person described it to me. Look, he stands on the edge of a cliff and doesn't fear falling, right? Other people who would have indictments, even more coming, would be in a fetal position, right? That's not Donald Trump. But he does fear this. He doesn't want this. He doesn't, he hated watching his former CFO, Alan Weisselberg, in handcuffs. He doesn't want the mugshot. So, yes, he does fear all of these things almost for vanity purposes, if you will, on that front. But I'll tell you what they do plan to do. They're trying to make lemonade out of it. They're going to try to raise, I promise you, they'll probably raise a ton of money off of this in the next 48 hours. And it will be one of these uncomfortable moments. It's why you saw when he snapped his fingers and said, I'm going to be arrested. And I expect people to back me up on this. His vice president, Mike Pence, who may end up testifying against him in another grand jury in Washington, he backed him up on this. Ron DeSantis reluctantly backed him up on this. House Republican committee chairs started the process of trying to investigate the Manhattan DA before even knowing
did he just freeze the Republican race?
Well, I think his presence has frozen the race. The race was frozen because of his presence before. I mean, in many ways, you've seen there's not many other new people getting into this race. This is maybe Ron DeSantis gets in. The assumption is he is. But there's a whole bunch of other people that look like they're not going to go. People like the governor of Virginia. There's a bunch of senators that have decided not to run. Let's see what Tim Scott, really the most active senator these days, that's thinking about it. But I do think this is going to be a smaller field. And I do think that this is the dominant story because this is what Donald Trump does. He's not going to ignore it, right? One thing he does is he will lean into this and he will make it part of the campaign. Remember what he said, I am your retribution. Right? He wants his problems to become his base's problems. I think this is terrible long-term politics for him. I think it's an impossible general election for him to win, but it may be very hard to dislodge him from this nomination.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.